The Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with noise. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in their special chairs, arguing about trade routes and mining rights. In the middle of it all, Ambassador Hyunwoo sat quietly with his aide Daun, watching the chaos unfold. The Velkari Empire was angry. Their red-scaled leader, General Kextar, slammed his clawed hand on the speaking platform. "The Thornax took our mining stations," he roared. "This is an act of war." The insect-like Thornax representative clicked his mandibles in response. "Those stations were built in neutral space. We have every right to claim them." Hyunwoo sighed. This was the third time this month that two alien races had nearly started a war over something simple. He looked at Daun, who nodded slightly. She knew what he was thinking. "If I may speak," Hyunwoo said, standing up. His voice was calm and clear. All the aliens turned to look at him. Even though humans were one of the youngest species in the council, they had earned respect as peacemakers. "The Kepler sector has enough resources for everyone," Hyunwoo continued. "What if the Velkari take the northern asteroid belt, and the Thornax take the southern gas giants? Both areas have what you need." The Zephyrian representative, a tall blue being with large eyes, nodded slowly. "The human speaks wisdom," he said in his musical voice. "This solution benefits all parties." General Kextar looked angry, but sat down. The Thornax representative also agreed. Another war had been stopped by human diplomacy. As the session ended, Daun walked beside Hyunwoo through the station corridors. "Did you notice how they looked at us today?" she asked quietly. Hyunwoo frowned. "What do you mean?" "The way the Korthak delegation stared, and the Velian traders kept whispering, when we spoke. Something feels different." Daun was right. For months now, other species had been acting strange around humans. They asked more questions about human colonies. They wanted to know about human ship designs and defense systems. They said it was for standard diplomatic records, but something felt wrong. Later that evening, Hyunwoo met with Captain Taemin in a secure room. Taemin was the head of human intelligence on the station. "We've been watching the data streams," Taemin said. "Someone has been scanning our colony worlds. Not attacking, just studying. They're mapping our trade routes, counting our ships, measuring our industrial output." "Who?" Hyunwoo asked. "That's the problem. The scans come from different sources. Korthak military ships, Zephyrian science vessels, even some Velian merchant fleets. It's like they're all working together." Daun felt a chill. "But why? We've never threatened anyone. We help solve their problems." Taemin pulled up a holographic display. It showed the human colonies scattered across the galaxy. Red dots marked where alien ships had been detected studying human worlds. "Maybe that's the problem," Taemin said. "We've been too helpful, too successful. Think about it. In 50 years, humans went from one world to over 100 colonies. We control major hyperspace routes. Our technology is advancing faster than anyone expected." Hyunwoo studied the map. Human colonies did control important space lanes. Human diplomats had prevented dozens of wars. Human traders had become essential to galactic commerce. "They're scared of us," he realized. The next day, Hyunwoo tried to address these concerns in a private meeting with the senior council members. War Prime Vextar of the Korthak Empire led the discussion. "Ambassador," Vextar said, his voice like grinding metal, "your species has expanded very quickly. Some council members worry about human ambitions." "We have no hostile intentions," Hyunwoo replied. "Everything we've done has helped maintain galactic peace." High-intellect Quindar of the Zephyrian spoke next. "Perhaps that is exactly what concerns us. Your people solve problems too easily. You adapt too quickly. You grow too fast." The Velian Trade Minister Zolak nodded. "Human colonies now handle 30% of rare metal exports. Your merchant ships use trade routes we've controlled for centuries. Your diplomats have more influence than species that have been in the council for thousands of years." Hyunwoo felt the walls closing in. "Are you saying we should limit our growth? Stop helping with diplomatic problems?" "We're saying," Vextar growled, "that perhaps humans need to understand their place in the galactic order." After the meeting, Da-un found Hyunwoo sitting alone in his office, staring out at the stars. "How bad is it?" she asked. "Worse than we thought." "They're not just worried about us, they're planning to do something about it." Da-un's communicator buzzed. She read the message and went pale. "Sir, this is from Earth Command. It's coded priority. Alpha." Hyunwoo read the message twice. His hands shook slightly. "What does it say?" Da-un asked. "It says they've been monitoring the situation. Our intelligence services have detected military buildups near human space. Trade agreements are being quietly canceled. Immigration applications from human worlds are being rejected. But that's economic warfare," Hyunwoo finished. "They're going to strangle us slowly. Cut off our trade, isolate our colonies, then move in when we're weak." Da-un sat down heavily. "What do we do?" Hyunwoo was quiet for a long moment. Outside the window, alien ships moved between the stars. Ships belonging to species that had decided humanity was a threat that needed to be controlled. "We have a choice," he said finally. "We can accept their limitations and become junior partners in their galaxy. Or what? Or we remind them that humans don't react well to being caged." That night, emergency messages went out on secure channels to every human colony, every human ship, every human diplomat in the galaxy. The messages were simple. "The Council has made their intentions clear. Begin Protocol 7 immediately." In her quarters, Da-un packed a small bag. She didn't know what Protocol 7 meant, but she trusted human leadership. They had kept humanity safe this long. As she prepared for sleep, she looked out at the Council Station's main docking bay. Human ships were quietly departing, one by one. Their crews gave normal reasons: supply runs, routine patrols, scheduled maintenance. But Da-un noticed something the alien species missed. Every departing human ship was fully loaded, and none of them were coming back. The quiet before the storm was ending. What came next would surprise everyone. Captain Jinho stared at the strange object floating in space. His ship, the New Horizon, had found it during a routine exploration mission near the edge of human space. The object was clearly artificial, but it wasn't human-made. "What do you think it is?" asked Navigator Subin, studying the readings on her screen. Engineer Tai-hyun looked up from his instruments. "It's some kind of monitoring station. Very advanced. Been here for months, maybe years." Jinho frowned. The device was positioned perfectly to watch the main hyperspace route that human cargo ships used. "Can you tell who built it?" "The energy signature matches Korthak technology," Tae-hyun said. "But there are also Zephyrian components, and some Velian parts too." "That's impossible," Subin said. "Those species don't share technology." But as they searched the area, they found 12 more monitoring stations, all hidden, all watching. Human trade routes, all built by different alien species working together. Jinho sent an encrypted message to Earth Command. "Unknown surveillance network discovered. All major human routes are being watched." 3,000 light-years away, Governor Minho was having his own problems. His agricultural world, New Seoul, had fed millions of people across the galaxy for 20 years. Now suddenly nobody wanted to buy human food. "I don't understand it," said Trade Coordinator Ha Young. "The Velkari canceled their grain contract yesterday. The Thornax don't want our fruit anymore, even the Zephyrians stopped buying our vegetables." Minho looked at the report spread across his desk. "What reasons did they give?" "Different excuses each time. Budget concerns. New suppliers. Changing dietary needs." "But sir, they're all happening at once. That's not a coincidence." Minho's communication device buzzed. It was a message from the Galactic Immigration Office. "Sir, they've rejected every application from humans wanting to study on alien worlds. 53 applications, all denied." "On what grounds?" "Administrative delays, security reviews, medical concerns. Always something different, but the result is the same. No humans allowed." Minho understood what was happening. The aliens were building walls around humanity, cutting them off from the rest of the galaxy piece by piece. Back on the Council Station, Da-un was working late in the diplomatic archives. Her security clearance let her access communication records between alien species. What she found made her blood run cold. Hidden in routine diplomatic messages, she discovered a pattern. The alien species were coordinating their actions against humanity. They called it managing the human expansion problem. The Korthak were positioning military fleets near human space. The Zephyrians were developing research projects focused on human biology and psychology. The Velians were organizing trade boycotts. Even the peaceful Thornax were contributing by sharing intelligence about human colonial defenses. Da-un printed the evidence and ran to find Hyunwoo. She found him in the secure communications room, speaking with someone on Earth. "Sir," she whispered urgently, "you need to see this." Hyunwoo read the documents quickly. His face grew dark. "They're not just planning to limit us, they're planning to destroy us." On the neutral science station Kepler-7, Dr. Eunji was making a horrifying discovery. She was the only human scientist working on the station, studying alien biology alongside researchers from dozens species. For months, her alien colleagues had been asking her for routine medical data about humans. Blood samples, genetic information, data about human immune systems. They said it was for standard medical cooperation between species. But when Dr. Eunji analyzed what they were really studying, she realized the truth. They weren't trying to help humans. They were looking for ways to hurt them. The research focused on human weaknesses. What diseases could affect humans but not other species? What chemicals were toxic to human biology? How could human food supplies be contaminated? How could human life support systems be sabotaged? Dr. Eunji immediately sent a message to Earth. They're developing biological weapons specifically designed to target humans. The response came back quickly. Pack only essential items. Extraction in 6 hours. Meanwhile, Hyunwoo was preparing for what he knew would be his final appearance before the Galactic Council. He had requested an emergency session to address humanity's concerns. The Great Hall was full. Representatives from every major species attended, but their faces showed no sympathy, only cold calculation. Honored members of the council, Hyunwoo began. "We have discovered evidence of coordinated surveillance and economic warfare against human colonies." War Prime Vextar interrupted. "You speak of warfare, human, but we see only legitimate security concerns about your rapid expansion." "Security concerns?" Da-un stood up from the observer section. "You call biological weapons research a security concern?" The alien representatives exchanged glances. They hadn't expected humans to discover that part of their plan. High-intellect Quindar spoke carefully. "Dr. Eunji's research station conducts many projects. Perhaps there was a misunderstanding about the nature of her work." "There's no misunderstanding," Hyunwoo said firmly. "You've been studying how to kill us while pretending to be our allies." The hall erupted in angry voices. Several alien representatives shouted denials. Others demanded that humans accept reasonable limitations on their expansion. Through the chaos, Vextar's voice boomed. "Enough. The Council has tried to work with humans peacefully, but your species refuses to accept its proper place. You expand too fast. You influence too much. You threaten the stability we have maintained for thousands of years." "So you decided to eliminate the threat," Hyunwoo said quietly. "We decided to contain it," Quindar corrected. "Humans will accept restrictions on colonial expansion, limits on military development and supervision of your diplomatic activities. This is not negotiable." Hyunwoo looked around the hall at faces that had once seemed friendly. Now he saw only fear and hostility. They had made their choice. "I understand," he said calmly. "You've made your position very clear." That night, Da-un found Hyunwoo in his quarters, burning documents and packing a single small bag. "Are we leaving?" she asked. "Everyone is leaving," he replied. "Every human in council space, every human on alien worlds, every human working on joint projects. We're all going home. But our colonies, our trade agreements, our research projects will continue," Hyunwoo said. "Just not here, not with them. Dayun's communicator buzzed with an encrypted message from Earth Command. Protocol Exodus authorized. All personnel implement immediately. Timeline, 72 hours. What's Protocol Exodus? She asked. Yunwoo sealed his bag and looked out the window, at the stars. It's what happens when you back humans into a corner. It's what happens when you mistake our peaceful nature for weakness. I don't understand. You will. In 3 days, the galaxy is going to learn something about humanity that we've kept hidden. We're not just explorers and diplomats and traders. He turned to face her, and she saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before, something cold and determined. We're survivors, and we're much, much more dangerous than they realize. Outside, their window, more human ships were quietly departing the station. But these weren't just cargo vessels and passenger transports. Military ships were leaving too, their weapons powered down, but their crews alert. The gathering storm was about to break, and when it did, the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Kyung-soo stood on the bridge of the Last Dawn, watching dozens of screens that showed human colonies across the galaxy. Each screen displayed the same thing: organized, quiet evacuation. Status report, he commanded. Sector 7 complete, reported Captain Jae-won from his position. All civilians evacuated from Kepler Station. No alien personnel noticed anything unusual. Sector 12 finishing now, added Commander Hyejin. The Velian trade partners think we're just doing routine maintenance on our facilities. Kyung-soo nodded. Protocol Exodus was the most complex operation in human history. In 72 hours, every human in alien space had to disappear without causing panic or suspicion. On the merchant station Nexus Prime, engineer Min Young finished her final shift maintaining the life support systems. She had worked alongside alien engineers for 3 years. They trusted her completely. "See you tomorrow, Min Young," called her Zephyrian colleague as she packed her tools. "Of course," and she replied with a smile. But she knew she would never see him again. Min Young walked calmly to her quarters, picked up a small bag she had hidden weeks ago, and made her way to Docking Bay 7. A maintenance shuttle waited there, officially scheduled for routine supply runs. The shuttle pilot was Captain Bo-Ra, one of the best in the human fleet. "Ready?" she asked quietly. "Ready," Min Young replied. As they launched, she looked back at the station where she had lived and worked. The aliens inside had no idea that the human who had helped keep them alive for 3 years was now gone forever. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. On the colony world New Busan, Colonial Administrator Dong Min oversaw the evacuation of 2 million humans. To outside observers, it looked like normal population transfers. Moving agricultural equipment to Sector 5, Dongmin reported to the Alien Oversight Committee. What he didn't mention was that Sector 5 was empty space, where transport ships waited to carry the equipment to secret locations. "Relocating families for better employment opportunities," reported Social Coordinator So-jin. The families were indeed relocating, but not to other human colonies in alien space. They were going somewhere the aliens had never seen. Dr. Young-hee had spent 5 years studying advanced physics at the prestigious Zephyrian Institute. Her research on hyperspace mechanics had earned respect from the galaxy's greatest scientific minds. On her final day, she submitted her latest research report and cleaned out her laboratory. To her Zephyrian colleagues, everything looked normal. But Young-hee had carefully removed every piece of equipment, every data chip, every personal item that contained human knowledge or technology. "Your work on hyperspace compression is remarkable," her research partner told her. "I look forward to seeing your next project." "Thank you," Young-hee replied. "I think my next project will surprise everyone." That night, she boarded a research vessel supposedly heading to study a distant star. The ship's real destination was a coordinates known only to human command. The evacuation was so complete, it seemed supernatural. On the mixed species trading post Harmony Station, security chief, Taesung had spent 2 years learning the habits and routines of 12 different alien species. He knew exactly when guards changed shifts, when surveillance systems updated, when cargo was moved. Using this knowledge, He coordinated the departure of 43 humans from the station without triggering a single security alert. Maintenance. Workers left during shift changes. Traders departed during busy cargo periods. Families moved out during scheduled passenger transport times. Each departure had a normal explanation. Each person left behind a clean workspace and completed duties. But by the end of 3 days, every human was gone. Ambassador Hyunwoo prepared for his final appearance before the Galactic Council. He had written his speech carefully, choosing each word with precision. Dayun stood beside him as they entered the Great Hall. "Are you sure about this?" she whispered. "It's time they understood," he replied. The council session began normally. Representatives discussed trade disputes and territorial claims. Then Hyunwoo requested permission to speak. "Honored members," he began, his voice carrying clearly through the hall. "The Republic of Earth hereby formally withdraws from all treaties, accords, and agreements with the Galactic Council and its member species." The hall fell silent. War Prime Vextar was the first to react. "What are you saying, human?" "I'm saying we're leaving," Hyunwoo replied calmly. "You made it clear that humanity is not welcome as an equal partner in galactic civilization. We accept your decision." High Intellect Quindar stood up. "You cannot simply leave. There are contracts, obligations, established procedures, all of which we are formally terminating," Hyunwoo said. He activated a small device that sent electromagnetic pulses through the council's computer systems. Every piece of human data, every technological specification, every diplomatic record was instantly erased. "We wish you well in your future endeavors," Hyunwoo continued. "Goodbye." He and Da-eun walked calmly toward the exit. Behind them, alien representatives shouted questions and demands, but the humans didn't look back. Captain Bo-Ra commanded the rear guard operation, making sure no human was left behind. Her ships monitored alien communications, ready to rescue any human who might be trapped or discovered. But the aliens were too confused to react quickly. On the Korthak military, Base Station Omega, Commander Riksdal stared at empty quarters where human technical advisors had lived for years. "Where did they go?" he demanded. "Unknown, sir," replied his aide. "They completed their shifts yesterday evening. This morning they were gone. No records of departure, no transportation logs, no forwarding address." Similar reports came from across the galaxy. The Velian trade minister discovered that every human merchant had vanished overnight, leaving behind completed contracts but no contact information. The Zephyrian Science Institutes found empty laboratories where human researchers had worked. The equipment was clean, the projects completed, but the humans had disappeared like smoke. On Thornax colonies, human agricultural advisors had vanished, leaving behind detailed instruction manuals for maintaining the farming systems they had designed. By the end of 72 hours, the impossible had happened. Nearly 1 billion humans had vanished from alien space without a trace. Admiral Kyung-soo received the final report on his command ship. "All sectors clear," reported Captain Jae-won. 100% extraction complete. No humans remain in council space." "Any alien pursuit?" asked Kyung-soo. "They're still trying to figure out what happened," replied Commander Hye-jin. "Their ships are searching human colonies, but they're finding empty cities with the lights still on." Kyung-soo looked at the tactical display. Every human ship had reached the secret rendezvous points. Every colonial population had been safely evacuated. Every human in alien space had come home. But this wasn't the end of the operation. It was just the beginning. "Set course for the deep space coordinates," he ordered. "It's time for Phase 2. As the human fleet moved into the darkness between stars, they left behind a galaxy in chaos. The aliens had gotten what they wanted. Humans were gone from their space. But they were about to learn that making humans leave and making them go away were two very different things. In the deep void where no alien had ever traveled, massive construction projects were already underway. Ships the size of cities were taking shape, built with technology the aliens had never seen. Humanity was no longer interested in being part of the galactic community. They were preparing to become something else entirely, something the galaxy had never seen before. 6 months after the human exodus, War Prime Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship as it approached Earth. His war fleet consisted of 50 ships, the most powerful vessels in the Korthak military. "Scan the planet," he ordered his weapons. "Officer, sir, I'm detecting active power grids, functioning communication networks, and operational defense platforms, but no life signs. No humans anywhere." Vextar stared at the blue world through his view screen. Earth looked exactly as it should. Cities gleamed under the sunlight. Orbital stations rotated in perfect order. But nobody was home. "Take a landing. Party to the surface," he commanded. 2 hours later, his ground team reported from New York City. "Sir, this is impossible. The city is clean. The transportation systems are running. There's fresh food in the markets. But there are no people." Captain Velona of the Velkari Empire was having similar experiences on human colony worlds. Her exploration team walked through empty streets on New Sol, the agricultural world that had fed millions across the galaxy. "The crops are still growing," reported her science officer. "Automated systems are maintaining everything. The planetary defense grid is active and responds to our presence. But every human is gone." Where could they have taken 2 million people? Velona wondered aloud. Her answer came from deep space sensors. Massive energy signatures were being detected in the void between star systems. Something huge was out, there far from any planet or trade route. Meanwhile, Trade Minister Zololak of the Velian Consortium was facing an economic disaster. He stood before the council with devastating reports. Human trade routes carried 23% of all galactic commerce, he announced to the shocked assembly. Human colonies provided 31% of rare Earth elements essential for hyperspace drives. Human agricultural worlds supplied food for 18 different species. High intellect. Quindar of the Zephyrians added to the bad news. Human. Diplomatic mediation prevented 14 potential wars in the past decade. Without their negotiation skills, 3 conflicts have already erupted in sectors they used to patrol. But the worst discovery came from Dr. Threndok, a Korthak scientist studying abandoned human research facilities. "What we found disturbs me greatly," he reported to the council. "The humans were not just studying our species for diplomatic purposes. They had detailed files on every major civilization's military capabilities, resource dependencies, and strategic weaknesses." War Prime Vextar leaned forward. "What kind of files?" "Complete strategic assessments. They knew exactly how many ships each species could field in battle. They mapped our supply lines and identified critical vulnerabilities. They even had psychological profiles of our military leaders." The council chamber erupted in worried voices. High-intellect Quindar demanded details. "How detailed were these assessments?" "They knew things that should have been impossible to discover," Dr. Threndok replied. "For example, they identified a weakness in Zephyrian shield technology that even our own engineers didn't realize existed. They had accurate counts of Velkari military reserves that we keep classified. They knew the exact location of every major Korthak weapons depot. But they never used this information against us," pointed out Trade Minister Zolak. "No," Dr. Threndok agreed. "They used it to help us. When they mediated disputes, they crafted solutions that accounted for each species' real capabilities and limitations. They prevented wars by understanding exactly what each side could actually do. The implications were terrifying. Humanity had possessed detailed intelligence on every major galactic power and had used it to maintain peace. But what would they do with that information now that they were enemies? Scout Commander Riksdahl of the Thornax Collective provided the first clue. His deep space patrol found something floating in the void, a simple message buoy. When activated, the buoy projected a hologram of Ambassador Hyunwoo. His voice was calm and polite, exactly as it had always been. "Greetings to the Galactic Council," the recording began. "If you are receiving this message, it means you have begun to understand the consequences of your actions." The image paused, then continued. "You made it clear that humanity was not welcome as an equal partner in galactic civilization. You threatened us, isolated us, and planned to destroy us. Thank you for helping us understand our place in the galaxy. War Prime. Vexter felt a chill despite his heated battle armor. What does the human mean? The recording answered his question. We are no longer interested in being part of your galactic community. You have taught us that integration with established civilizations is not in humanity's best interests. We will chart our own course among the stars. High-intellect Quindar studied the message carefully. This buoy was placed here deliberately. They wanted us to find it. But where are they? Demanded Trade Minister Zolak. Their answer came from Captain Velona's deep space sensors. Council members, I am detecting massive artificial structures in the galactic void. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases. How massive? Asked Vextar. Sir, the smallest structure is approximately the size of a moon. There are hundreds of them, and they appear to be mobile. Dr. Threndok was studying the sensor data when he made a shocking discovery. These aren't space stations, he announced. These are ships, massive ships containing entire human populations. The council members stared at the data in disbelief. The structures were enormous, far larger than anything any galactic civilization had ever built. Each one could house millions of people. How is this possible? Whispered Quindar. Building ships that size would require technology and resources beyond any single species. Unless, Dr. Threndok said slowly, they were hiding their true capabilities from us all along. War Prime Vextar remembered something from the diplomatic archives. The humans always claimed to be explorers and colonists. They said their rapid expansion was driven by curiosity and population pressure. What if that wasn't the whole truth? Suggested Captain Velona. What if they were testing something, practicing for something? The pieces began falling into place. Humanity's rapid colonial expansion hadn't been random. They had been learning how to move entire populations quickly and efficiently. Their diplomatic success hadn't been just skill. They had been studying every species in detail, preparing for the day when they might need that knowledge. They played us, Vextar realized. They made us think they were peaceful farmers and diplomats while secretly becoming something else entirely. High intellect. Quindar accessed more human research data. Look at their scientific projects. We thought they were studying hyperspace physics for better trade routes, but these calculations, they're for something much more advanced. What kind of advanced? Asked Zolak nervously. Mobile civilization, Quindar replied quietly. They were designing a way to live permanently in space, without needing planets or stations or trade partners. The council chamber fell silent. The aliens were beginning to understand what they had created. By threatening humanity, they had forced the humans to reveal their true nature. Humanity wasn't just another species struggling to find its place in galactic civilization. They were something new, something that didn't need the established order. What do we do now? Asked Trade Minister Zolak. War Prime Vextar looked at the sensor readings, showing massive human ships in the deep void. Ships that could travel anywhere, attack from unexpected directions, or simply disappear into the darkness between stars. We pray they're still the peaceful species we thought they were, he said grimly. Because if they're not, we just made the most dangerous enemy in galactic history. Outside the council station, space looked empty and normal, but somewhere in the vast darkness, nearly 1 billion humans were learning to live without planets, without aliens, without the civilization that had rejected them. The galaxy was about to discover what humanity could become when they stopped trying to fit in. 1 year after the human exodus, War Prime Vextar led the largest exploration fleet in galactic history into the void between stars. Representatives from every major species accompanied him, determined to find humanity and restore galactic order. Contact. Ahead, reported his sensor officer. Multiple massive objects bearing 27 Mark V. What they found defied all understanding. Hundreds of enormous ships moved through space in perfect formation. Each vessel was the size of a small country. gleaming with strange lights and humming with unknown energy. "By the ancestors," whispered high-intellect Quindar. "They've built a mobile civilization." The largest ship approached them slowly. It dwarfed Vextar's flagship like a mountain beside a pebble. Communication signals reached the alien fleet. "Galactic Council vessels, you are entering the territory of the Human Republic. Please state your intentions." Vextar recognized the voice. "This is War Prime Vextar. I wish to speak with Ambassador Hyunwoo." "Ambassador Hyunwoo is no longer available. I am Fleet Admiral Sung Min. I will represent humanity in these discussions." A docking bay opened in the massive human ship. As the alien delegation entered, they stared in amazement at what they saw. The ship's interior was like a city, complete with parks, rivers, and buildings that stretched beyond the horizon. Fleet Admiral Sung Min met them in a conference room with windows that showed stars and space. He was older than the diplomats they remembered, with gray in his hair and hard lines around his eyes. "Welcome to New Terra," he said politely. "How can we help you?" Trade Minister Zolak spoke first. "We've come to discuss restoring trade relationships and diplomatic contact." "I'm afraid that's no longer possible," Sung Min replied calmly. "Humanity has moved beyond the need for such arrangements." Captain Valona studied the windows showing the interior of the ship. "How many people live on this vessel?" "New Terra houses 50 million humans," Sung Min answered. "We have 47 similar ships in this fleet alone, and many more fleets throughout the galaxy." The numbers were staggering. Dr. Threndok did quick calculations. "You're saying nearly 2 billion humans are living on mobile ships?" "More than that now," said Dr. Haywan, entering the room. The aliens recognized her as a scientist who had worked on Zephyrian research stations. "Our population has grown significantly in the past year. Mobile civilization has advantages for human reproduction and child-rearing." High-intellect Quindar leaned forward. "But how do you sustain such massive populations without planetary resources?" Dr. Haywan smiled. "Would you like a tour?" She led them through corridors that seemed to stretch for kilometers. They passed vast agricultural sections where crops grew under artificial suns. They saw manufacturing centers that produced everything from clothing to starship components. They visited universities where human children learned advanced sciences. "Each ship is completely self-sufficient," Dr. Haywan explained. "We've perfected closed-loop ecological systems. We can operate indefinitely without external resources." War Prime. Vextar was disturbed by what he saw. "This technology, it's far beyond what you demonstrated before." "We've had time to focus on development without political distractions," Sung Min replied. "Amazing how much progress you can make when you're not constantly attending diplomatic meetings and trade negotiations." Captain So Young joined them as they toured the ship's command center. She had been a simple cargo pilot when the aliens knew her. Now she commanded a vessel larger than most space stations. "Your ships," So Young said, gesturing to the view screen showing the alien fleet, "are designed for planetary support. They need bases, supply lines, maintenance facilities. Our ships are designed for independence." She demonstrated by showing them the ship's defensive systems: energy shields that could deflect asteroid impacts, weapons that could eliminate threats without damaging the ship's delicate internal systems, engines that could move the massive vessel faster than most alien military ships. "We're not just self-sufficient," So Young continued. "We're mobile, defensible, and completely free from the limitations that tie other species to fixed locations." Trade. Minister Zolak was growing desperate. "But surely you need trade. Raw materials, exotic elements, cultural exchange. We have mining ships that harvest resources from asteroid belts and dead planets," replied Dr. Haywan. "We've developed technologies that let us synthesize most materials we need. As for cultural exchange," she gestured to the diverse human population around them, "humanity provides all the cultural variety we require." High-intellect Quindar asked the question all the aliens were thinking. "What do you want from us?" Fleet Admiral Sung Min considered the question carefully. "Nothing." "Nothing?" "We want nothing from the Galactic Council or its member species. We've learned to exist independently. Your civilizations, your politics, Your territories. None of that matters to us anymore." The aliens exchanged worried glances. War Prime Vextar voiced their fear. "You could attack any of our worlds and retreat before we could respond. Your mobile fleets could strike from any direction." "We could," Sungmin agreed. "But why would we? You have nothing we need and conflict would serve no purpose." Ambassador Ji-hoon entered the room. The aliens recognized him as Da-Yun's replacement, though he looked different now, more confident, more distant. "The Galactic Council taught us an important lesson," Ji-hoon said. "Attempting to integrate with existing civilizations was a mistake. You showed us that established powers will always see newcomers as threats to be controlled or eliminated." "We were wrong," admitted Quindar. "We acted from fear, not wisdom." "Perhaps," Ji-hoon replied. "But it no longer matters. Humanity has found its true path among the stars themselves." Dr. Threndock studied the technical displays around them. "Your advancement in 1 year? It's impossible. How did you develop such technology so quickly?" "We didn't develop it quickly," Dr. Haewon corrected. "We developed it secretly over decades. Every human scientist working on alien projects was also working on mobile civilization technology. Every human diplomat was gathering intelligence we might need. Every human colony was a test site for independent systems." The truth hit the aliens like a physical blow. War Prime Vextar felt his armor grow cold. "You were planning this from the beginning." "Not planning exactly," Sungmin said, "but preparing. Humans are adaptable. We plan for multiple futures, including ones where we might not be welcome." Captain So-young showed them to the observation deck, where they could see the full scope of the human fleet. Hundreds of massive ships moved in perfect coordination, their lights creating new constellations in the darkness. "This is just one fleet," she told them. "We have others exploring the galactic rim, establishing hidden bases in nebulae, mapping regions no other species has ever visited. You're colonizing areas we don't even know exist," realized Captain Velona. "We're becoming something new," corrected Ji-hoon. "Not a planetary civilization, not a trading empire, something that has never existed before, a truly mobile, self-sufficient species that belongs to the galaxy itself, not to any particular part of it." As their tour ended, the alien delegation prepared to return to their ships. Fleet Admiral Sung-min had final words for them. "We harbor no ill will toward any species," he said formally. "We'll maintain minimal contact for essential communications. But Earth and her children will chart their own course among the stars." War Prime Vextar looked back at the massive ship as their shuttle departed. "What should we tell the Council?" "Tell them the truth," Sungmin replied over the communication channel. "Tell them they got what they wanted. Humanity is no longer part of galactic civilization. And tell them," added Dr. Haewon, "that other young species are watching. They're learning from our example." As the alien fleet returned to Council space, they carried news that would shake every established civilization. Humanity hadn't been destroyed or contained. They had evolved beyond the need for the galactic order entirely. On New Terra's observation deck, Fleet Admiral Sung-min stood with Dr. Yoon-ji, watching the alien ships disappear into the distance. "Any regrets?" she asked. Sung-min shook his head, looking out at the vast human fleet moving through the cosmic dark. "The galaxy taught us we didn't belong with them. Now we know we belong among the stars themselves." Behind them, 2 billion humans continued their journey through infinite space, free from the limitations of planets, politics, and the fears of older civilizations. Humanity had found its true home in the darkness between stars, and the galaxy would never be the same.